Will literally show you the career that you've been wanting, dying, itching to see.
It's time to experience the nooks and crannies of Korea as with your own 2 feet on
K-Patch
with Cedric.
It is a Monday, and every Monday, to brighten up your start to the week, we dispatch Cedric on a topic here in Korea, and he'll film some beautiful videos to do with it and then bring them in on a Monday morning. Good morning, Cedric.
Wonderful morning,
It
Peter.
is it still sunny outside and very warm?
It's pretty sunny, and yeah, it was pretty warm when I walked out the door. It kind of hit me in the face.
Yeah, I've been liking in recent mornings. It's been quite cool in the mornings, like a breeze and stuff. But today, I came out the door and I was like, oh, it's already like daytime temperature hot.
Right.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not a fan of when it's over 30 degrees, and I think it's going to get to 34 or 5 today.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it will.
Yay! So me and Cedric, you can't see. We should have an under table cam to show our pants that we're wearing, shorts today. Absolutely, all the way.
I will show you guys.
There we go.
How about that?
Lovely jubbly. I heard the fashion for men for shorts, they're meant to be getting shorter and shorter every year.
Oh, really?
Fashion-wise. And I have seen that. I'm not sure where I stand. Like, I want my shorts to at least touch my knee when I'm standing up.
Okay.
If not,
Fair
cover
enough.
them a little bit, but I think that's maybe a bit too long for fashionistas out there. But I've seen some that are closer to your hip than your knee. I'm not happy with that.
Yeah, I have a little issue with that. I would say a happy medium for me.
Yeah.
You know, because I like to, I work out my legs. So
Yeah.
I like to, show off a little muscle there too.
Oh, nice.
You know?
Like the thigh muscle
Yeah, the
as
thigh
well.
muscle. But, I'm not that vain, so just maybe 2 inches above the knee, max is good for me.
You're right. Anywhere between halfway and down to the knees, not too bad. But
Right.
when you're reaching up towards your hip and they look like,
Yeah.
I don't know, some Speedos or something, no thank you.
No, we'll pass.
Yeah, I don't know if it's allowed. How short can a short be before it's like public indecency, I wonder?
Right. I guess it depends on the country.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, because some people, I guess, could walk around in bikinis near a beach, like on the streets, and say, oh, that's okay.
True.
And that's rather scantily clad. Don't know where we're going with this. Cedric, today's hashtag, why don't we get onto that, is cultural asset, okay? So we're talking about places like, I don't know, the palaces in Korea or temples or anything like that. From where you're from in the States, were there any like historical locations that were quite famous?
Yeah, there was, in my hometown, there was a structure called the Market House, and this is Fayetteville, North Carolina. But, with the recent protests and everything going on, it's come to find that most of the town are starting to protest for that thing to be knocked down.
Oh,
and the reason
because of
is
its past.
Yeah, because of its past and
Okay.
because it's linked to slave trading.
Oh my goodness.
Which we learned that growing up, but now with everything going on, everyone's like, knock it down. And,
Yeah.
I think I agree.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of statues being taken down, and I'm all for the institutions who are totally on board with that. They're
Yeah.
like recognizing we shouldn't be celebrating this person despite maybe doing some good things in one field if they've got really questionable past in another. But when it comes to buildings, I'm not sure, because here in Korea, right, in Seoul, we've got some buildings left over from the Japanese colonial times
Right.
in Seoul. A lot of them were destroyed, and rightly so, but we preserved a few, and I don't know, they kind of add to the colour of the city. But I think if you're going to have them, they should be like a really clearly marked as, this is their terrible history. This
Right.
is the terrible things that happened here. But now maybe we want to change the meaning by turning it into a cultural space or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. It's really difficult, isn't it? Because, if you look at the history of many places, many buildings in the UK as well, they'll be linked to terrible people as well. I don't know I don't know if there is a line to be drawn. If enough people want it knocked down, then I guess knock it down, right?
Right. Or at least use it, as you mentioned, just sort of an educational point, if anything.
Yeah.
Just to show you where we were in history and to learn from it, maybe.
Okie dokie. All
I don't
right.
know.
That sounds like a really interesting topic to debate and discuss, right? So this week, I mentioned it to our listeners, it's going to be the 25th of June, I guess, on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And that is Yu-Gi-Oh! The start of the Korean War happened 70 years ago on that day. So we're going to be sticking every hour number 2, I think, to a theme of the Korean War. So that's what you've brought for us today.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about really Korean War memorials, but also just remembering just either the people of the war or the things used in warfare, or protecting the country, rather.
Fantastic. So where have you gone to, Cedric?
Well,
on your travels?
the first location I went to Yongsan-gu or Yongsan District, and there we have the War Memorial of Korea. It's a huge place with exhibitions really inside but also outside. So I'm going to show you guys the outside because the inside was closed due to COVID-19 temporarily. So let's watch the outside.
Okie dokie. It's a rather epic looking space, isn't it?
It really is. It's beautiful.
They've got that massive statue there, and then Namsan Tower in the background as well.
Right. And I would say this is probably my favorite. It's so powerful, just these statues.
Yeah, alongside the fountain, like two sides kind of fighting against one another.
Right.
Oh, wow. I've never taken that close a look there.
Right. And just remember that because that's very important, that picture there.
The Roll of Honor. Oh, what's that?
So that has to do with the unification of the Koreas.
Oh, I see. Wow.
Yeah.
And a little battleship in a pond there. Some airplanes. These are all free to view in the grounds of the museum, right?
Yeah, and if you're sneaky, you can actually climb into them when no one's looking, but don't do that.
Yeah, you can climb on those little steps, right? But
right.
I think officially you're not meant to get into into most of them. Oh,
Like
wow.
that.
They're open, though.
They are, but there are signs that says, do not come in.
Okay.
So...
Just videos like that are perfect.
Right, so we're going to take you inside via pictures from the
Okay.
website since I couldn't get in.
Fantastic.
So just different exhibitions in there from what I was reading up on. You can see some of the weapons that were used. These are rifles here.
Yeah, and some of the like mannequin displays there. Uniforms of old soldiers. That's really
Right.
poignant. Oh, a little kids area as well. Oh, and they've got a little exhibition of a destroyed bridge there.
Right, and I think that bridge is significant, actually. Yeah, so this that's an old letter, I believe, from the 1950s.
And the US troops helping during the Korean War as well.
Yeah, and so I'm really bummed that I couldn't get inside because that looks like such a powerful, just series of exhibitions.
Yeah,
Takes you through a journey.
because the war in Korea is relatively recent. Because I guess for many countries, maybe the Second World War is the most recent, but the Korean War even more recent than that in
Yeah.
the early 50s, right? It still cuts close to the bone for many people here, right?
Right, and I can't help but to think that, you know, my mom, and I'm not sure if your mother was born around that time,
Yeah.
but my mom was born in the middle of it, 1951.
Yes, my
Seoul.
mum, 1952 as well, so slap bang in the middle. So she doesn't have any memories of the Korean War itself.
I guess that's a fortunate thing, right?
Yeah, but definitely living in the aftermath of that, right?
Yeah, so it hits home to me in a way because my mother, and she lived through that, and she lived through the rebuilding phase as well. But yeah, so a little bit about the War Memorial. It was established on June 10th in 1994. And there are approximately 33,000 artifacts, though 10,000 are currently on display indoor and outside. So that includes the weapons, like some of the garments and the uniforms that you saw. So there are plenty of things to see from that time.
I've been inside and out, and yeah, it is a shame that we couldn't get in due to COVID-19, but to be honest, the outside itself is more than enough. My kids actually prefer it because they can run around and stuff, and then they get to see the real planes and tanks and whatnot that were used in the war. That's unbelievable. Yeah.
Right. So it is worth going out there, even if it was closed, in my opinion. But, you know, you definitely want to try to get inside if you can once it's open.
Yeah.
And, I mentioned there was a picture there, and it was the monuments of Roll of Honor. So it was basically that big hallway, and there were monuments on the left and right. And basically, it contains the memory of the Korean and UN soldiers and police officers who were killed in action during the Korean War and also the Vietnam War. And so it's a very somber place, but it's also a way to remember those that were fallen
if you
during
just
that time.
look at the lists and lists and lists of names there, it really hits home just how many people passed away in that conflict. I think the number of Korean casualties was well over hundreds of thousands of people, which is quite insane considering just a few hours before or a few years before we were the same country, the same peninsula, right? So sad.
Right, absolutely. And so, Korea is really doing a great job in really just honoring the memory of not only the Korean soldiers and Korea as a country, but also the soldiers that came and helped during that time. And so what Korea did, which I thought was really cool, was recently, I believe it was in May, they sent about 1 million masks overseas to the veterans of the UN countries that served during the Korean War.
Yeah, it was such a nice touch, wasn't it? Really classy. And we talked about it on the show. I think it was to any of the surviving veterans, right? Where in their country, I guess it would have been difficult to get masks. Yeah, that's a lovely thing to do.
Yeah, and the average age of these veterans are about 88. So they're definitely more at risk during this, current pandemic. And so that's what South Korea did. Many of the soldiers who helped, most of them were from the States, but then you have 21 other countries represented too that Korea sent the masks to.
Yeah, and Korea is always so grateful, definitely to the States, although there's the kind of checkered history there more recent times about having forces here and, the youngsters reacting to the States, not just here in Korea, but around the globe, but we shouldn't forget that the States really did help the free world be a free world for such a long time. There's a lot of controversy these days, but Korea's always so grateful to the smaller countries that maybe didn't send so many troops, but were still involved. I think we talk about like a really good relationship with Turkey because they sent some soldiers out here. Even the UK, the British veterans, didn't number as many as the States, but they come over apparently every year on this anniversary, like the ones that are still fit to travel.
Oh, wow.
Maybe not so much during COVID-19 times, unfortunately, but it's lovely to see Korea's appreciation for that, right?
Totally.
So the museum, if it is open, is there an admission fee to get in?
So no, this is actually free, provided by the public.
Oh, great.
Which is awesome. And you can go from 9:30 to 6 p.m., but it's closed every Monday. And that is when the museum is actually open.
Okie dokie. And what are the usual, exhibition rooms in there?
Well, you have the Korean War room, which takes you through a journey of the Korean War and the story of it. You also have the War History room, which is more the history of Korea and maybe the past kingdoms. And then you also have an exhibition room for donated relics. So these are items related to the war that were donated by over 1,000 people.
Oh, wow.
That are on display. Not all of them, but a large majority of it.
Yeah, we often talk about stories that crop up here in Korea of war remains continuing to be found in the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, because some families still haven't got any remains, so it's kind of a closure for them that their loved ones passed away. Very meaningful one today for K-Patch. Tell us about any meaningful places, memorials for war in your country. We'll play a song request from Aimlita right now. You've asked for Radi's 오래된 영화 to support Davi's brother Che Kyute or Sway on the music video. He's so handsome, and that's a good reason to play it then. This is the film in English. We're back for part 2 of K-Patch. Cedric's in the studio, and today we are taking you on a tour of places linked to the Korean War in some way, shape or form, and we'll be doing that in every hour number 2 of the week, as it's the 70th anniversary of the start of the Korean War on June 25th. We got a couple of messages to read out. Just got Jordan Young saying, just switch from the Arirang app to the YouTube live stream, and it looks like a lot more fun here. You'll have fun everywhere you watch Cedric and I'm sure. But on the YouTube live stream and VLive, you can at least talk with other listeners if that takes your fancy as well. And I've got a question for you, Cedric, from Yana, who says, how long do you usually spend in a museum? My family members all seem to have different levels of interest. My brother being the longest, since he loves to read about the history, maybe written on the plaques and everything, and he'll spend at least 2 hours there. And I guess the other family members, it gets progressively shorter and shorter.
That's a great question. I would say in my younger years, I would spend less time in museums because I didn't have an appreciation for it. But now at my age, I have a thirst to learn, especially when it comes to history. And so I think these days I would spend more time in, I guess, exhibitions that are more relevant to what I'm interested in. For example, in the Korean War room, I would probably try to read everything and just try to go through the whole journey. Whereas maybe something that's a little bit more in the far past, I'd have a little less interest and spend a little less time. But I guess it depends on what it is.
You're right. When you're young, you just think it's all boring and you want to run through it as quickly as possible. And to be honest, if you don't read the plaques and stuff, it is boring. It's just like some old pot or something. And you're like, what does that mean to me? But if you read the story, that's where the interesting facts come out, right? Like where this is from, as maybe some kind of legend or something like this. And you're also right, and I think this should apply to everyone. Go to a museum where you're interested in the topic. Otherwise, it might be a struggle to like keep your interest going for however many hours.
That's
right?
very true. Very true. Josh really says, oh, we got some World War II planes and cannons 2 blocks from my house, actually. Wow.
We remember that Josh is from the States, and you asked where he was from exactly. I forgot about my pop quiz for you. American geography and history is your forte, Cedric.
Yes.
So,
hit me.
Have you heard of the Cahokia Mounds?
Cahokia Mounds.
Apparently, they were mounds kind of similar to the pyramids in Egypt that the Native Americans used to bury their dead. And they're a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And in their heyday, they're apparently bigger than London is today.
Really?
Yeah, like the mounds of the dead, yes.
I'm going to say, I can't give you a specific, but I'm going to say somewhere in the West or
in
Midwest.
The West. Okay, I'm going
West
to do
or Midwest.
a quick search here to see exactly where they are. It says near the Mississippi River from modern St. Louis to Missouri.
Okay.
Is that vaguely right?
I'm pretty off. I'm pretty off.
Okey-dokey.
Wow, that's interesting.
I'd love to see those sites. And I'm looking at some photos here. They kind of resemble the ones in Gyeongju, which are like grassy knolls and stuff.
Right.
But the shapes are a bit different. That's really interesting stuff, Josh. Thanks for sending that in.
Very cool. Pasta Lover also says, I've always wanted to see the types of supplies and material used in the Korean War. Yeah, that is very interesting to know that what you're looking at in front of you at a museum or exhibition was actually from decades ago or actually used in warfare. That blows my mind.
Yeah, like the guns and more for me, we saw in your video like a set of the clothing and the shoes and stuff. And that was probably worn by a soldier. I don't know, hopefully that soldier survived, but in some cases it's just been taken off one of the soldiers that was killed in battle.
Right.
That's so meaningful and poignant, isn't it?
There's even a blood-stained Korean flag in the museum as well.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
And you can just imagine maybe the troops carrying that while in battle. How horrific war actually is, right? Brooke just asked for a quick recap. What museum were we talking about in the opening segment of K-Patch?
Sure, it's the War Memorial of Korea located in the Yongsan district.
Yeah, so it's not too far from us down in Seochogu. You cross the bridge over to an area very close to Itaewon. And when we say memorial, it includes a full-scale museum in there and then loads of statues outside. It's a massive area, right?
It's amazing.
Right near where the American base used to be, and the remnants of it still are as well, right? Your father, Cedric, was in the forces as well. Did he have any role in Korea? Did he ever serve time in Korea as well?
Yeah, so my dad was in the U.S. Air Force, and he served in, I believe, 83 to 84.
Oh,
yeah,
here
so
in
for
Korea.
1 year. Yeah, here in Korea.
Wow. Did you know if he liked his time here?
He loved it. My dad, he used to love anywhere he was stationed.
Oh,
he was very, he was a cultural buff, so he enjoyed the food, the people, and just the experience.
He was a bit of an adventurer here, there, and everywhere. Yeah, my father also in the UK Army and part of the UN forces in Korea, maybe a little bit before your father's time here. And he always used to say that he'd love going to these exotic destinations. He was stationed in Belize and the Falkland Islands and stuff like this. And he'd often leave us for months. Like, he'd go by himself, right?
Right.
And he'd talk about how much fun it was. And I'd be like, what about us? They'd be like, yeah, I wanted to see you guys, but it was great just going across the globe, right? Yeah. We've got Manuel Ungyong, who says, my grandfather was drafted for the Korean War. That is very meaningful for today as well. I hope that he was one of the survivors and not one of the casualties, but very interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
Second video then, Cedric. We're going to go somewhere completely different.
Yes, we're going to go to the Seoul Battleship Park in Mangwon neighborhood in Seoul, and that's on the north side of the Han River. So check this out.
This also closed the interior because of COVID-19, right?
Right. Normally you can go inside and see the ships and the submarines.
Look at a massive propeller from a boat. Goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
definitely a lot bigger than me.
And there is a battleship there docked permanently, right?
Right. That's the big one. There are two battleships, actually. So the one that's docked in the river, and that's called the Seoul Ham.
Yeah, that's what the park itself is often known as well. But I think
Right.
it's specifically talking about that boat, which usually you
right.
can go on, I think, right?
Right, and the boat is called Frigate Seoul, I believe, in English.
Okie dokie. It's got the gun on the front and everything, the search radar. It looks as if it could be like mobilized for battle still, but I'm guessing it's not in perfect working order.
Right.
And
So
these
you
are
can
the
imagine how
interior.
the soldiers at the time felt.
Yeah, I've been on board a couple of those. It's not as comfortable as you'd hope, like a luxury yacht or something. right?
Sure.
That's called the Chamsuri. This is a smaller one on the shore, is it?
It's on the shore,
Oh, nice.
so it's in the park as well.
You get a sense for the scale when you're filming looking up at them. They're massive, these
They
boats,
are.
aren't
I really wish I could have gone inside here too.
they? When I was down in Kunsan last year for a summer vacation, I went into one of the boats and they had a museum inside the boat, which just made it all the more meaningful. And you could see some rooms were left intact and then some were just completely converted.
Right.
What we didn't focus on too much there, but is also there, is a big submarine, right?
Right. And the reason why is because you have to go inside one of those buildings which was closed to be able to show you. So
Yeah. That's a shame because I'd love to go inside a submarine because I'm a bit claustrophobic. If it was in the water, I wouldn't want to. But because it's on the land,
Right.
I'm not going to sink or drown or anything like that. And the way they did it, when I first saw it being constructed, I was like, oh no, have they misconstructed it? Because it kind of sticks out at each end, the submarine.
Right.
And then the middle part of the building is like a glass facade, so you can still see it. But yeah, they've done it in a really cool, like funky architectural manner like that, right?
Yeah. So during normal opening admission hours, they are open March through October, weekdays 10 to 7, and then on weekends 10 to 8. Whereas
Okay.
November, December, in the wintertime, it's open weekdays 10 to 5, and then weekends 10 to 6. And to get in, it's 3,000 won per adult.
Okie dokie. And they're more modern vessels there, right? So I think it's focusing
Yeah.
on the more modern Korean Navy times.
Right. So I believe the big one that we saw, that was actually constructed in 1985, or it was commissioned in 1985. It was
Okay.
constructed right before that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's been just kind of floating about for about 30 years. And
Been
so now it's
retired
just
there, I suppose.
retiring and chilling.
Oh, nice. It looks like a really cool area. So that park itself, the area on the ground, you can just walk through there freely.
Yeah, there were a lot of people there that were just doing what you would see anyone do at any one of the Han River parks. They would just maybe set out a mat, just kind of hanging out there, maybe having a picnic.
I'd like to go. Is it quite accessible? Because we don't live near that side of the river. That's kind of northern, slightly west Seoul, right?
Right, not too close to the subway station, but you can get a bus there.
Okay.
Actually, there are 2 or 3 local buses that run nearby, so
Nice.
very easy to get there.
Okie dokie. That's our 2 videos for today. We're going to get to some of your posts. It's not too late to send in photos or videos of anything linked to war and war memorials from your country. After a song here from Soyu, I Miss You. K-Patch with Cedric in the studio, and our theme this week, as it is Yu-Gi-Oh! Later on in the week on Thursday, the 25th of June, marking the start of the Korean War 70 years ago. So it's a big anniversary this time around. We've got a couple of messages from our listeners. A few of you on V Live speaking Spanish, so I'm sorry I can't interact with you more Cedric, your Spanish not up to 100% yet.
It's as good as my geography.
Okay, yeah, not getting anywhere with me and Cedric, unfortunately. Rahaf saying, "Hi guys, you're not Korea. Do you mean we're not in Korea or we're not Korean?" The answer to both of those would be you're wrong, Rahaf. We are in Korea. We're broadcasting from Seoul, and we're both half Korean, you could say. The Halfy Project is something that Cedric's involved with. Take a look at that on YouTube as well.
Absolutely.
And Jackie, I think, asking who that song was by. That was Soyu just now. I Miss You, a lovely little track. Let's get to some of the messages from our listeners.
Joshua Lee says, "Oh, wow, my dad served in the Air Force also. Cool stuff, Cedric." Yes, that is very cool. And my dad served towards the end of the Vietnam War in Thailand and Philippines. And those ships were so massive, but also so claustrophobic at the same time. Yes, totally agree.
My uncle Bob in the UK, he wasn't like a full-time Navy officer. I don't know what it's called. It's kind of like cadets, where you do it as a kind of hobby thing when you're younger. And he used to love going on boats. And he's a massive guy. He must be 6'5" or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, isn't it claustrophobic? And he said, yeah, but that's what I loved about it. And when I'm in those boats as well, I think I could not last more than like a day in there. I would be screaming to get out.
Right, and imagine the submarine where you're just submerged for days and weeks at a time.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like they have windows, like you can peer out and see the wildlife or anything like that. So it would be like, I don't know, being in a giant coffin for me. Brooke from Brazil says, "I have nothing related to war," which is actually a good thing, isn't it, right? I guess I'm hoping that Brazil doesn't have too much modern history to do with wars. Yeah, that could be seen as a good thing, as a plus, yeah.
Yeah. Siska says, "Omo, me also, Peter. I don't want to be in a submarine underwater." So she shares the same, I guess, fear.
How are you with that? Yeah, I think it's a fear.
Yeah, I think I would do okay, but the claustrophobia I could probably manage.
Yeah,
I'd feel uncomfortable.
Have you ever been in a submarine? Because they've got one in Jeju. I don't know if it still runs. I went on it about 10-15 years ago, and you can see the fish. It's like an underwater tour kind of thing.
I don't think so, unless I went as a kid, but I was in an escape room for an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I feel like I would do okay.
You've basically lived in a submarine for
pretty much
years.
Same thing.
It's exactly the same. Hope no one from the Navy is listening. Yeah, and on that submarine, I didn't feel it at all until I went down, like you had to climb down a ladder into it. And it's only for about, 16 people or so. Yeah. Then my mum started coming down, and then she started freaking out. And I was like, wait, if you're freaking out, maybe I should freak out. And then I started freaking out. But luckily, because there are lots of windows and you're only, 10 meters under the water, you get acclimatized to it. But when you start thinking, oh shoot, 10 meters is still quite a distance if we were to sink, and not come up. And then I started worrying. But anyway, I think many people share this fear. Josh Lee also said, "I like my legs on land, not even on the airplane. In the air do I like them." Yeah, I guess.
Fair enough.
You feel more confident when you're on your own 2 feet, I think, right? That sounds like it's mostly a common viewpoint to hold. We got some messages and some photos to read out. We've got a photo from Yana first here. Oh, wow, look at that submarine.
That is huge.
Look how tiny the people are in the bottom right corner there. Is that how big a submarine is? That's like a whole cruise ship underwater, I suppose.
Yeah, they didn't clean it either. They just plopped it out the water and put it on land.
Looks a little bit rusty. Yana says, "I went to the Royal Malaysian Navy Museum in Malacca State a few years ago, but can't get inside because I didn't have ample time. This photo is from the Submarine Museum. One of Malaysia's expertise in battleships is submarines. Because we've been colonized by many, our ships have been our assets here, and they're mostly influenced from outsiders like the Portuguese. I definitely recommend Malacca Steak if you're coming to Malaysia to see the historic cultural assets." That photo, I'm sure the one at Seoul Ham, the battleship part, is not that big, right? When you were standing
it's definitely not that big.
Is that like a giant submarine, I wonder? That's huge.
Right, there are different classes when I was looking it up, and I believe the one at Seoul Ham is, I believe it's called Dolphin class, so I feel like it's a smaller class of submarine.
That looks like it would be a whale class if we're on that scale, right?
Right. Kevin Leonard from the U.S. says, "Historic naval vessels could be considered cultural assets, and given its nautical history, Massachusetts is blessed with two prominent moorings to view part of our past. In Fall River, in the southeast of the state, is Battleship Cove, home to the world's largest collection of World War II era naval vessels.
Wow.
I've heard about that too.
Really?
Including the battleship USS Massachusetts. Meanwhile, back in Boston, at the Charleston Naval Yard, itself a National Historic Park, is the U.S. Navy's oldest commissioned warship, the USS Constitution, which saw action in the War of 1812.
Goodness gracious.
Wow.
That's an old one.
It's still crewed by active duty U.S. Navy sailors in period dress, and in normal times, they help maintain the vessel and give guided tours.
Wowzers.
That's insane.
That is amazing. From 1812, and it's still there. We've got something in the UK near Greenwich, which is famous for Greenwich Mean Time, you know, the 0 o'clock kind of thing. It's called the Cutty Sark, and I thought that was one of the oldest ships on display. And looking it up now, it was built in 1869, so it's got nothing on what Kevin was talking about.
We've got 50 years on that. That is insane.
Wow.
200 plus years.
And Battleship Cove, you've heard of that area where they've got all the naval vessels from World War II. I wonder, is that USS Massachusetts an aircraft carrier? Because when you see that on the films, that's like the size of multiple football fields, right? If that was on display, that would be absolutely amazing. I'm trying to bring up some photos of it. This doesn't look like an aircraft carrier, but it still looks absolutely massive.
Oh, man.
Oh, that is impressive, isn't it? Wow.
Man, yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks for sharing, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got one more from Siska, a video accompanying this. Museum Bahari, I see it says. The Sea and Marine Museum. Oh, so it's got some real traditional, like, wooden vessels in there as well.
Wow.
Some more modern ones with sails on them too. Oh, wow. It seems like, I guess Indonesia being a collection of lots of those islands as well, the boats must be very important to the country itself, right? That's it, Jakarta, a port there. Have you been on any boats on the Han River, Cedric? Any of the, like, tour boats or anything?
On the Han River, I did. I went to a boat party a couple weeks ago, but it was docked.
Yes. Okay, it wasn't moving.
So I guess that doesn't count, but it was a legit boat.
Oh, nice. That can actually move about, but it was just permanently docked.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I think during COVID-19, if you want to get out and have a little party, you can rent a boat privately. My friend posted up on Instagram the other day and had like maybe 10 friends on board, and they were just like discoing the night away, it seemed. I'm guessing it's pretty pricey to do that usually. Siska shared some more information saying that's where you can see the battleships in Indonesia, Museum Bahari. The Indonesian battleships were famous in the war and the colonial eras as well. And then Sunda Kalepa Port in Jakarta, where we can still see big old ships here, and it's one of the tourist spots in Jakarta town. Well, like Cedric just mentioned, some docked ships along the Han River. There are some permanently docked ships as well that are like restaurants and cafes along there, which look pretty cool. I think some of them aren't for moving at all, right? They're just there for all year round, I think. And you can check those out. And there are the Yuramson that we've talked about on the show before. They're like the tours of the Han River, and you just go up and down. You should definitely do that as a date thing. Cedric.
Yeah, I want to. I think that's a great date idea.
One of the greatest things, which not so romantic, but you buy these little melchi, you know, the small fish that we eat as a panchan here, a side dish. You buy them dried and you hold them up for the seagulls, and they come and snatch it out your hand from the boat.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
So that's a thing.
Yeah, like we did that with the kids maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, it's not battleship related, but what you can do on the Han River anyway. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Have we got a topic for next week for our listeners yet?
Nope, still working on it.
Okay. Any suggestions? Let us know. Okay.
Send it in.
Absolutely. It's summertime here in Korea. Maybe you want something summer themed. We do have to bear in mind that many public institutes like these museums, they're closed due to the relapses in Corona. So if you can think of a public outdoor area, then let us know what you'd like to see, or just something in daily life. Cedric's good with those videos as well, like the bank and post office, anything like that. All right, have a great week, Cedric, and we'll see you again next Monday.
Yep, see you guys next week.
Stay cool in your lovely shorts today, City. Let's play a song request from Yana in Malaysia. You've asked for Romance, Always You.